me check. Ooh, we are live. We are live. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me see who's on. Brother Al, how are you? You made it. Thank the Lord. Hold up. I'm watching Juliens rock and roll auction there. What the hell you want to call it? Wow, you're at 65? That is hot. Hot, man. Hot. I know we're not too far off. That's crazy. Al. So I got some cool unboxing today. This is going to be a quick live stream, but I'm watching this this Juliens auction. I muted it. And this is the end. This is day 3 of 3, and they're down to their Frank Zappa items. Frank Zappa and the Mothers of Invention. Remember when Frank Zappa and the Mothers were at the best place in town, and then some stupid with a flare gun burned the place to the ground. Bum, bum, bum. Some of you may get that reference. Ooh, look at this. What is this? Carl Franzoni. I got some cool stuff here, like this. Now, those aren't my automatons. Those automaton shorts are from the Tibidabo Museum in Spain. I did like a bunch of them just because I didn't have time to make videos because of my traveling schedule. So I wish I had them. I have, the fortune tellers, but not those automatons. I liked a lot of those. Not all of them, though. The hell one was probably my favorite. And then there's still some more coming up. But anyway, get a sip of water. So I have to keep this brief today. I have a full schedule. So I said, let me pop on if I catch some people, and we'll go through some toys, and I'm going to watch this auction. So yesterday I won 2 items. I won an Elvis Presley check that he signed. He voided the check, but he signed it and he wrote some notes on it. It was the check when he was going to lease the house in Palm Springs that he ended up buying with Priscilla. Him and Priscilla lived in this house until he died. Well, I don't know if they lived in this house exclusively. He owned the house until he died. And if you're on my Facebook, obviously you saw it. Did a 3-dimensional picture of it. And then I also had Emerson, Lake and Palmer autographed. It's basically a print that was their cover art of their first album. So I decided to add a few new things to the collection, musically related. I have the 2 music pinballs, and I have a couple of the Jimmy Page guitars, things like that. So I said, let me branch off, and add some more musical stuff. And right now, this is the end. I wanted to, they call it the Fool guitar, which I mentioned before. It sold for $1 million, and I don't know if they did this by accident. But the guy that won it, they said, and congratulations, Jim Irsay, which is, I think, the owner of the Colts. And he has a bunch of $1 million guitars. So they may have made a mistake. I can't imagine he wanted to have been outed. But, this auction company is a little different than the ones I'm used to dealing with because, see, their increments right now goes up 25%. And I think their buyer's premium's like close to 30. So like, you get the next bid between the buyer's premium, the increment's going up 25%. And then you throw on the buyer's premium. So like your next bid is actually increasing over 50%. And that was kind of shocking to me. And look, that's their format. They can run the auctions however they see fit, and it works for them, obviously. But as a bidder, the first time that I may have gotten some things from Juliens through other people, maybe secondhand, or if somebody bought something they knew I'd like and I bought it that way. But, when I'm looking at bidding, I'm not used to going up between the buyer's premium and the increment over 50% in one shot. No Spanish robots. There were like new Chinese robots on the floor in Portugal, though, but nothing Spanish. You had a good point. I could have looked for some of those. What were the big Pipo was the big Spanish robot. There were a couple, and then I'm trying to think of the other brands. Not Yessi, but there are like some of the Spanish Spaceman, and they had that one robot and the big giant Pipo. So technically, if I went antique hunting, I might have been able to come across them. What is this book here? Naked Lunch by William Burroughs. Bought for Frank. I'll tell you what I like in this lot. There's a Christmas card sent to Frank Zappa by Paul McCartney and his family. I guess Paul, Linda, whatever, whoever else. And so, if that comes up while I'm watching, I may decide to bid on it. So I could unmute this, right? I'll show you real quick. But then I couldn't talk.
$7,000, but now it's 7. 8 is now the asking 8. 8
so
is the
here
ask
we have
asking
an
8.
old 1978 lead, but I'm going to mute it.
Is the asking 9.
Because I don't want to talk over the auctioneer. But look at the old equipment. Old equipment goes for some big bucks. $10,000 for this Marshall head, 100-watt though. You still need the cabinet, right? You still need a cabinet on this. Holy macaroni. But now if you want to get the pure 70s sound, you need the proper equipment. So I know the electronics can get a little wonky on these, but once you restore it, although like if you're restoring it with new equipment, new replacement parts, then maybe you defeat the purpose. So I don't know. I don't know what the card's going to be. I don't even know. Let's see if I can get, well, you can't see the bottom of this, so let me scroll. Let me see if it comes up here. This is all the items. I'll scroll a little more. Let me see if I could find the Paul McCartney card. I have a feeling it's going to go for some big bucks. And let's see. Oh, look. AC/DC, Angus Young and Malcolm Young signed a studio wall section. Interesting. I should get a snare drum. A snare drum would just be cool, and I'll sit here and hit the snare. I'll hit the snare while I'm doing my live streams. The Neumann condenser microphone's expensive. Let's see. I don't see it yet. It's way down there. This stream might be over before I get down there. Look at this. Frank Zappa fan-signed underwear. Who wants to buy Frank Zappa's fan-signed underwear? Well, I guess it depends whose underwear it was. Maybe it was a starlet. It became famous. Could have been Madonna's, right? She threw her underwear at him. Where is that Christmas card? Oh, see, every new item, it pops back up to the top. Let me go all the way to the bottom here. 1,051. And we're at lot number 795. So unlikely I'll get through these lots. But again, let me see if I can find the card. I don't know. Maybe people like. Maybe I'm only the only nut that likes this ephemera. The reason I like the check, by the way, now somebody be like, "Why would you buy a check?" because there's so many fraudulent autographs out there. There's a auction company. I don't even want to name them because I don't want to get into anything. But their autographs are so sketchy. They created their own authenticator that's sketchy as hell. And you know what? I'm like, no way I'm going to friggin', buy something like that. And all of a sudden they have tons of Babe Ruth out of the blue, Lou Gehrig, Mickey Mantle, rock stars, Beatles especially. It's like, no. So a check, it's authentic. I mean, the check person owned the check. They likely signed their check, especially back in the day. Like this Elvis check was written in 1969. Back then, it was pretty good odds that Elvis wrote his own checks. He still probably wasn't too drugged up in 69. It might have been a little bit, but not terribly. So I can't imagine that I don't even think he was married, right? So like sometimes there's been a few cases where I've asked my wife just sign a check for some reason. Not too often, but it's happened, I mean, a couple of times maybe. But this, I'm almost 100% certain that he actually endorsed it. Even though he voided it, it doesn't matter. It's the signature that counts. And the notes he wrote on the side, this is to lease this particular property, which made it kind of cool. So let me see if I could find this stupid card. I thought I saw something that said card. If anyone in the chat, Anthony, if you're in this chat and you know the lot number of that card, or you could research it for me, just like type it in, please, so I don't have to go crazy here looking for it. Because with my luck, you know what I'll do? I'll skip it. It'll be up here. Anyway, we can go for a Raggedy Ann doll. Anyway, like I said, this is not all about watching the last part of this 3-day auction with the Frank Zappa stuff. The first unboxing, which came in this neat little nifty, you know what? Actually, check this out, how cool this is. This is like the perfect Tupperware to fit this thing. I have not seen this piece ever, and it's almost like a little mini coffin. We open it up, and lo and behold, what we have here. Dun, dun, dun. Have you ever seen this? How cool is this freaking thing? This is a Tetsugen Bank. I'm going to expand this for a sec, since it's still on Raggedy Ann, by TT. But not only is this cellophane thing still sealed, but look at the back. It has freaking like artwork, cover art. Is that freaking amazing or what? On its blister card. Now, how many of you have seen this thing? I bet not too many. What a friggin' awesome piece. And it's a bank. Now, hopefully nobody tells me, well, that's new. That was only made 2 years ago. But this is Tetsugen Bank. Let me know if you've seen it before. Al, as far as the check, you're not too far off. It wasn't cheap. But you know what? It's a year after, probably less than a year after his 68 comeback special. So that's the other part of it. Historically, it was a significant time in his life. He had just, in the 60s, Elvis. Now, I'm not a huge Elvis fan. There's a bunch of his songs I like. I'm not going to play them, too often now. If they come on the radio, I'll listen to them. But that's when he came back onto the scene 6 weeks before Led Zeppelin released Zeppelin 1. Think about it. And then in 1974, they actually met, Zeppelin and Elvis. But in 68, it was kind of like the end of the Beatles, the heyday of the Stones, the Who, Hendrix. So all of a sudden, boom, Elvis comes back with this comeback special. And it was like he was thrust onto the national spotlight, if you will. So, anyway, let's see. I'm not going to buy this fan-made stuff. Who is this? That's not supposed to be Reagan, is it? So, if that's supposed to be Reagan, that's, not surprising. What year would this have been made? I mean, the politicians. Hey, Bong Donkey, how are you, man? We're watching, if you missed it, we're watching the end of the Juliens rock and roll played, worn and torn guitars and memorabilia and all this stuff. They had a lot of Prince, Michael Jackson. The big thing was the Eric Clapton Fool guitar. Anthony, let me know if you could find the lot number for the Paul McCartney Christmas card that he sent Zappa. That's the one thing I'm interested in bidding on. So, if you could tell me the lot number so I don't miss it. We're kind of doing a combination. Zappa for Prez. The worst. All right, what the heck is this thing? So I showed you all these boxes. Sometimes they're kind of handy to keep around town. Boy, you know, when you think about it, right? Zappa and his theatrics, right? Did he predate like Alice Cooper? Kiss, obviously Kiss. Alice Cooper was one of the early guys, but as far as his stage theatrics, I wonder if he was one of the innovators, with all the props and, again, the theatrics. He was a very artsy guy. 986, yowza. Let's go back down. Ooh, that's down. I don't know if I'll be able to do that live because I don't know how long I'm going to stay on here. 986. Oh, only 3 to 500. So if that's truly a Paul McCartney autograph, that's kind of cheap. I would do it. Because that's sort of like a nice, connection between two musical giants, right? McCartney and Zappa. Zappa and the Mothers. We're at the best place in town. All right, for my next unboxing. I already threw the box away, so I should have, I guess, taken it out of the box. But here is another one by a combination of M. You hear this? What is it? Did you think it sounded like a phone? Because if you did say telephone. Mothers came on in 64. Yeah, but I don't know when their stage theatrics came out. So the next item that I have never seen before, but it goes with all my other stuff. Let me go back to here. All right, who wants Danger Pothole underwear? And this one is complete with skid marks. How cool is that? Oh, God. Did he, look, if he wore this stuff, then he was even ahead of Prince. Because, Prince did this gender bender stuff. That's crazy. You know what? I can't expand my screen to show you this. I want to see how high these weird underwear go, these crotchless underwear. The Mothers came out in 64, but was Zappa playing with them in 64? And was he wearing and why are these underwear so stained? That is gnarly, man. Ooh. How do you explain buying this? So, what I've noticed with Juliens, if you don't get to the low estimate, and in this case, like $200, so that didn't sell. So their low estimate, like in this case, is $100. If you don't get to the low estimate, the lot's passed. So now this will sell. But again, what is this? Like an old portable cell phone? I don't know. Some of this stuff is junky. I got to say, I don't care who owned it. I mean, unless, you find value in, not the amplifier, but like his old portable cell phone that doesn't work anymore. And why is this flipping back and forth? Hope they're not having glitches. So this power amplifier. So anyway, the second item that I had was, check this out. I'll show you the box first. I will expand this a little bit. For you toy fans out here, Here's an Astro Boy telephone. Where the hell have you ever seen that before? And here's the actual, oh look, now I just really shrunk myself. Oh, studio speakers, not bad, not bad. And here is the phone. While you're looking at the studio speakers. Can you hear that? Speakers might be pretty cool. Yamaha, what year are these? In-house studio. I bet those speakers kick ass if I had to guess. Yamaha made good speakers, but Eddie Murphy, Queensryche. What the hell is this? This is a piece of the wall from his rehearsal studio. Queensryche and Eddie Murphy. Well, you know, not two of my favorite. Anyway, this was your... Was the phone 500? I don't think it was 500, but I don't know what it was. That's tin litho right there. And it's a bank, too. So the bottom, you have a coin slot here. How cool is that? And I'll make individual videos of these items. Now let me shrink my mug. I could use a better microphone, but I don't think I want to spend 8,000. Yowza! 8,000. And that's crazy. Crazy money. So let's see. This is the tube microphone first released between 51 and 71. I just wonder what he used it on. It'd be nice if they say this is the microphone he used to record XYZ albums. The phone was expensive, though. All my stuff is expensive. I mean, I don't buy anything cheap. And not because I want to waste money, just because the stuff I buy, is pretty rare. Now, in this box, what? 17,000? I got the rescue boat back from John Rigg. He got it back to tip-top shape. So, I don't know if I'm going to make a video of it. But you could check John Rigg's YouTube page, and it's fixed, and he shows you it working, which is really cool. Let's see here. Electronic drums these look like from this is 1980. Look at how primitive these electronic drums are compared to let's say the rolling units today. Everything's so condensed. Look at the technology you needed back then, how big it was. I mean, it's like everything else, though, right? Like in 1980, phones and the early cell phones were huge. Early computers were huge. But again, you know what? The sound of this old stuff can't beat it, I mean, you can't beat it per se, but you can't replicate it digitally. You can get close, but not all the way. This box says... Robot Trike. I have no idea what it is. So as we're watching this auction go by, and let's see. I should buy this Remo case, but I don't have any place to put it. I need a warehouse. If I had a warehouse, I could store a lot more stuff. And that's pretty cheap, actually. What does it say about these? This case contains, well, that's so much for that. Some percussion instruments, a cow moo box, fluorescent noisemakers. See, I'm reading down here. Well, you too can make sounds like Frank Zappa. All you have to do is buy his moo sounder. Are you interested in this? Well, I was telling people I bought 2 items already. I bought an Elvis Presley signed check, and I bought an Emerson, Lake and Palmer print that's autographed by all the band members. And now Emerson and Lake are deceased, so... But I actually had other things autographed by Emerson, Lake and Palmer. I think, a drum head from the Black Moon tour that was autographed by them, and a I think a couple of CDs, and these came directly from Tony Ortiz. Their manager manages their YouTube channel, so I know it's like the legit stuff. And we're actually going to go see Carl Palmer. He has that revival show. It's right in my hometown here, with Carl Palmer doing the ELP. It's sort of, with the movie playing. It's a combination of, they'll show the movie of, he'll play along with Emerson and Lake, and then his band will play probably part of the songs, and he plays part. But in this, honestly, like, I did like a lot of the guitars. I thought they went expensive, and this is my first time personally bidding on Juliens. And like I stated before, their increments go up too high, at least from what I'm used to. If you're going up 25% and you have nearly a 30% buyer's premium, and you have an item, say that's like $10,000, well, if your next bid is $12,500 and you're tacking on 30% on top of it, you're effectively going up like 53 to 55% in one shot, which to me, like, I'm not used to that in auctions. I'm used to like 10% increments, so that takes a little adjusting on my part. Now, each item I got was at the low end of the estimate, at least, thank God. But that said, this Zappa stuff, I am interested in the Christmas card he got from Paul McCartney. So we'll see. All right, now for my robot truck. Now, this is a strange fellow. I would be really leery of this old electronic stuff. As far as the Hummer, since you brought that up, but let me show you this unboxing. What was the robot truck? I didn't even know, but now I see it. This is an odd-looking fellow. Check this out. Check this out. Bum, bum, bum. How often do you see this guy? And his head rotates. And he has the bell. It feels like the wind is slipping, but see when I put him down. So that's I'm going to put him back here. Let's point him this way. Toss this box aside. You could always get a nice metronome. It's crazy, right? Like, when you think about... Ooh, whoa, let me shrink myself. Boing. There, now you can see it. Imagine, like, look at the estimate, $25 to $50 for this metronome. Wait, what's this? This is a Wurlitzer piano. I thought the Fender Rhodes were the popular ones. Anyway, the Hummer we got back, it had 4 recalls on it. 4. They actually changed, if you could believe this. In 22 and 23, they only made 800 total Hummer pickups, GM. That's it, for the 2 years combined. So they're pretty rare. Only 400 approximately, per year. And I bought it in twice, and they had to change the entire battery pack. Wow, this microphone is $17,500. So we drive the truck when we need to transport stuff. Primarily everything in the collection here, museum collection, however you want to call it, we've delivered, especially all the big stuff. Well, I'd say not all, like 90% of it has been transported with the Hummer, and that's probably the primary reason we bought it. When the build-out was finished, and we had hundreds of boxes, artwork, things like that, that's when I made the decision to get something that I didn't have to go to the gas station all the time. I wanted a truck. And I said, you know what, it's easier. We get this thing. We don't have to stop at the gas station. We make a million trips back and forth. And that's why we did it. And at that time, that was like, I'm pretty sure that was the only electric truck. Maybe the Rivian was out. But the thing about the Hummer is that the roof comes off and you could drive it like a convertible. It's 1,000 horsepower, which is just bragging rights. Not that we use it, but it's just kind of cool. And it's just a good looking, I like the look of it. Now, having owned it for a while, I can tell you, there's some design elements that are a little questionable, but it does what we needed it to do, and we're pleased with it. And you don't see them coming and going. Where we live, people like have the Porsche Taycans and those Mercedes. Those G-Wagons are like a dime a dozen. But you know what? Believe it or not, we finally saw one. There's only two, and in our little town, there's somebody else finally got a Hummer pickup. So, and it took like a year, you know. So, like that, it's unique, and not every you don't see them coming and going. And it's also good advertising for the museum. So, like when it's clean, which is not that often, we put the magnetic signs on the doors with the museum logo. Probably people are like, what the hell is that? They see a little rocket thing and they're like, what the hell is that? Meanwhile, at Joe's Garage, speaking of cars and garages, his road cases are up to $8,000. Now, I like these. I said these are kind of cool just for storage, right? If you need to store stuff and they're decorative. I wonder, though, if you got stencils and you stenciled Joe's Garage, how the hell is somebody going to know the difference, you know? Although this is coming from the estate. So if you like it just for the aesthetics, they're probably beat up. Let's see if they have any individual shots. Reagan New. What the hell was that? Oh, anyway. I remember seeing Zappa with this beret here, and I guess he wore a wig. He's a strange guy. Strange fellow, that Zappa. Strange indeed. All right. Come on, next unboxing. It's funny that him, like, you know, McCartney, you know, they're like buddies. Hold on. Wow. So all these rock stars, you know, they're just like hanging out with each other. Hey, Frank, Merry Christmas from me and Linda. They don't like us plebs. You know, they're only sending cards to their other rock stars. I mean, I don't know that for a fact. I'm just saying. It's just funny to me. And what is this? Show us your TITS, Frank crossed out Mary, from the bus. So somebody wanted Mary. First they wanted Frank, and then they're like, no, we don't want Frank. We want Mary to show us her you-know-what. Her tatas. Her tatas. I wonder if Mary complied. Now, today that would be politically incorrect. Before I show you this, I want to see... Robbie, I have no idea. I'm going to have to email Fred Barton and ask him. Because I would like to get it before Christmas, you know, but... Let's see. This is Dirk, Tom, and Tommy, Zappa Superfans. Anyone else? What's that? That's from a... I can't read because I got this heart. That's from a song? That's from a song, Show Us Your Tatas? Is that what you're saying, Anthony? Is that what you're saying? What kind of potty mouth lyrics did Zappa have? Wow, that's an expensive wah-wah pedal. Wah-wah. All right, for my next trick, nothing in my hands, nothing between my fingers. Which song was that? Joe's Garage? Now, from the magic of the internet, bum 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 bum. Wet T-shirt night. Oh, I have to look it up. Bum bum. Space Patrol Cycle. I can't tell you how many times on and off I've tried to buy this bike, and then for whatever reason, I always change my mind and something else comes up, but I finally had one available. It's a little bigger than I thought, but it's in cleaner condition than I thought. More amplifiers. Oh yeah, way cleaner. Way cleaner. Clean machine. She's a killer. Clean machine. Look at that. Shiny litho. Shiny tin. Wow, wow, wow. There's the rabbit from TPS. I think that's TPS, the rabbit. Let's shrink me so you can see Zappa's stuff here. What does he got now? Loudness monitors. Can you imagine now this stuff? Like, I have a loudness meter right on my OBS software. And back then you had to have like the meter's exterior, you know. We've come a long way. Fembot in a wet t-shirt it's called. I'll look it up, Anthony. Thank you. Anthony, if you see anything that's good on here, you tell me. You put it in the chat, like the amplifiers or anything that you think is a bargain. A bargain, if there's such a thing, at an auction. Live auction, not too many bargains. And I noticed a lot of these guitars came from Christie's auction, especially the Clapton guitars. You know what, let's put these boxes there. Put this here. So I clear them off my desk. Ooh, this is a heavy one. Heavy, heavy, heavy. Heavy, heavy, heavy. What lot? Oh, we're 829. We have a ways to go before we get to that card. So here's the problem with the card, though. You know, if I got the card, how am I going to display that? The card is two-sided, so you either lose the Christmas image, and then you could frame the interior of the card, which, if I'm not mistaken, was blank. Let me see if I scroll down to it. And then you lose the context, which kind of sucks. Let me see if I could pull it up. Yeah, here it is here. I'm going to overlay it here. So here's the card. So you actually have Paul and Linda. It's a custom card. That's the back. And this is why I liked it. It has this illustration, and it says, "Happy Christmas to you and a New Year to Paul, Linda, Heather, Mary, and Stella." Now, who wrote it? Who wrote it? Did Paul write it? Did Linda write it? That looks like Paul's P, but I'm not sure. Some of you sleuths, I'm pointing at you, Anthony. You see if there's any Paul autographs. That looks like his typical P, but I can't be certain. This illustration looks like one of the meanies. I could do glass or Optium that I like, but where do you mount it? If it's two-sided, how do you mount it? I guess you could do a standee or maybe a rotating. That's one of the, I can get I do have little one, and I know they sell them. You have rotating little turntables. I guess, like, if you wanted to put it on a rotating turntable and just have it spinning, that's an option. And I wonder who drew this illustration. It looks, like I said, like a little meanie. But it's cool. It's definitely, his custom card. So, what did they say? The handmade Christmas card with handwritten note from Paul McCartney to family, from the Paul McCartney family to Frank Zappa. So, you guys tell me what you think of it. You tell me what you think. It's I'm not going to say tough, but I would be more inclined if I knew 100% that Paul actually wrote the card. Although it clearly came from him, I guess, unless it's an elaborate fake. Wasn't Zappa, an artist as well? So what if he just created that whole thing? I mean, like, who the hell knows? Who knows? What if he made the card? What if he fabricated the card? Is that possible? Would he have done that as a goof? I would hope not, but, who the hell knows? And why would you have one card, if this is coming from his trust, right? Now, if I got a card from Paul McCartney, I'd probably save it too. But you're telling me that, like, he didn't have a lot of other cool cards over the years, so that's why the estimate was a little light on that one. Let me go back up to what they're selling here. Whoa, Nelly. That's pretty cool. Well, if you know what the hell to do. Anyone know how to work those consoles? This is all analog stuff, isn't it? Not the MIDI rack. If John was on the stream, John from the Robot High, he used to do sound engineering. He'd know how all this stuff works. He'd be like, oh yeah, I used to work with that. I know I could make that thing work. What happens if these things break down? Big box. Big box. Be gone, box, be gone. Well, no. You do have a letter from the trust. The trust is saying that it was from Paul McCartney, from the Paul McCartney family. That's what they say. Looks like it came from Paul McCartney's family. I mean, clearly all this stuff is Frank Zappa's. What I'm saying is that a legit card that he received from Paul McCartney? Is it something that he concocted? I mean, I don't know. I mean, either way, it's sort of interesting. The illustration's interesting. Did Paul McCartney have cartoonist skills? Did he make that illustration on there? I don't have any idea. It's a pretty cool illustration. I mean, not like super technical or anything, but it shows a level of skill. So I have no idea. Now this thing here, this was an upgrade. I think it's an upgrade. It's an upgraded box because my box had some restoration. This box has no restoration. And it is complete. Now, ironically, as you're looking at this stuff here, let me tell you. So this is the hardest version of this box to find. And for some reason, another one of these popped up on a Facebook group. The guy's like selling it with the common version of the robot relatively cheap. So I'm like, what are the odds? I just got this. But anyway, so let me show you. And there's a toy in there too. It's the rare version of the smoking robot box. See that? No restoration, complete. Complete, no rips, no tears, right? Boy, you had a lot of microphones. And inside the box, well, first off, I have a letter with some kanji on there. What it's saying, I have absolutely no idea. Maybe it's saying, it doesn't really work. So, screw around with it. Now, I will have to compare this toy to my current toy and see if it's an upgrade. So I will have an extra one. Either somebody that watches this stream is going to say, I'll take it, or it'll go to an auction house. One or the other. I'm wondering, when did Frank Zappa pass away? It was a while ago, right? I mean, it's taken this long for them to auction off like stuff like his road cases. I mean, who was using this stuff? Was it just sitting in a warehouse? So, in the box, we have, as we go by the fan art, we have the rare blue version. And I'll have to look, make sure it's not... Oh, let me get on here. Hold on. This is the legit one with the lithoed dials in the back. That's how you could tell it from any kind of reproduction. These white dials that are lithographed with the Yonezawa logo on it. So pay attention, you learn something. Now this switch, I got to look at mine. I don't recall the red, but I'll double check my other one. So I might be able to clean them up a little bit, but this is the, the earlier versions, the desirable versions. And I'm going to see which one, is cleaner. I guess I'll look at the battery box. Battery door is clean. The other side also clean, no rust. The blue's a little flat. The shade but these were never like really metallic or glossy that I remember. I'm going to try to clean it up just a wee bit. Just a wee bit. Put them there. Eye candy. Now we're back. Let me shrink this so you can see. What is this? A bone? A femur bone of a large mammal preserved in sealant. A sold sign. This is like stuff I wouldn't buy at a garage sale. I don't even care who it belonged to. Novelty fish item. I don't know. I'm a little perplexed when it comes to some of this stuff. Even if he owned it. Was he into fishing or something? Is that what it is? Or is this part of an album? Anthony, you could tell me if it's something to do with an album. Maybe this album has it says Frank Zappa on it. Frank Zappa, the Yellow Shark. Must be another album. So, again, you got to hand it to Zappa. I'll tell you why. Jimmy Buffett made like a friggin' hundreds of millions of dollars with that one song Margaritaville because it became a lifestyle brand. That one song spawned beer, restaurants. It's like an attraction. But here you got Zappa that probably had kind of like the elements, the rudiments of something like that and all these crazy things he did. And he just didn't take it to that level. And it might not have been as popular, though. All right, so what's in here? This might be the last but not least. Let me go back up. Foot control boards. Any guitarists there that want this? I know how you are, Anthony. You're like, I want new electronics. I don't want to screw with the old stuff. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. What are we unboxing here? Straight from Japan. Has some kind of letter on it. Has the... What is this ugly thing? Oh my goodness. Ooh. What is this hideous thing? I think this is one of those things I have to... Now I remember. I sort of took a chance on this. Let's see if anyone has ever seen this before. It's one of those items that I roll the dice. Maybe I keep it, maybe I don't. Never seen it before. It looked strange. I think you'll agree with me. I'm guessing now it could be late, but I don't know. Again, I have no idea. No idea whatsoever. All right, are you ready for something? I guarantee you haven't seen this and probably never see it again. Oh my God. This has to be the ugliest thing I've ever unboxed. Oh my God. Do you really want to see it? Who's left on here anyway? Meanwhile, back at the auction, this console doesn't seem to be gaining any steam. I'm going to have to expand this. 851. I don't know why it's bouncing back and forth. Before I show you this ugly thing, and I mean this is ugly. Oh my God. Oh my God. What the hell is this thing? Are you ready? Are you ready to see the ugliest Batman toy you've ever seen? Look at this. This is a big blow molded plastic, like one of those Mexican banks. It came from Japan. I've never seen this before. It is so odd. And my picker buyer out there was like, "What do you think of this thing?" And I said, "Well, it looks pretty ugly, but you know what? Let's just try it." I never seen it, and unfortunately, there is no manufacturer's stamping on here, molded into the. But it's clearly a Batman vehicle. And you got this. You got a cape. How weird is this thing? So I don't know. This is one of those items. It's free rolling. Was it part of a set? Am I going to keep it? I have absolutely no idea. No idea. But it's definitely a Batman, or else they wouldn't have had the Bat logo right there. So let me know what you think. I've never seen one. I'm going to have to do some research on this. Let me shrink myself now. Ooh, drum machine. That's a pretty penny. What happened to my chat's dead? No. Now I'm stuck here. Here we go. Lin Drum digital drum machine. Again. Wow. Look at his mug. I think that's it for the unboxing. Let's unmute this for a sec.
647. Sorry about that, everybody. All right, here we are, lot number 853. Lot number 853.
Oh, this is a gong.
Frank Zappa's Ruth Underwood stage played Este Symphonic Gong.
I mean, lower it. Al, you didn't like that Batman, that plastic Batman? You didn't like it, I take it. I have to believe that this is, I don't know, I guess newer? Could it be 80s maybe? I have no idea. Why wouldn't they put a manufacturer on this thing? I don't know. Listen, if you're a Batman, now I went through that entire Heritage auction. I bought all those Batman toys, and I tell you, that guy that had probably the biggest Batman collection in the world, Batman toys and other ephemera and paraphernalia, including original artwork, he didn't have one of those things. So who the hell knows? Before I do, though, somebody is going to have to research and see if it's anything worthwhile. Because I have no idea. No friggin' idea. I think... Yeah, that's it for the unboxing. And, you know, let's see where we're at. 8:54. You know, I'm probably going to have to, like, knock the stream off for now. But I could tell you that if I get the card, I showed it to you, next time I do a live stream, I'll let you know if I manage to pick up the Paul McCartney card. And I haven't made a decision either way yet. I'm still a little skeptical. I'm not convinced it's the real deal. Well, I mean, it's a real thing. I just don't know exactly the history of it. And unless there's anything else in the chat, I think I will call it a day for this stream. Because like I said, I could go through some of this tin stuff, but that would be at the expense of the auction, which I know some people are watching. So anyway, listen, I appreciate you guys for tuning in and watching some of the unboxing and some of this crazy stuff here. And next time, I will hopefully have the answer to both the card and the Batman car. So with that, thanks. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. I appreciate your time as always. And I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.